The Malden Catholic Lancers against the Don Bosco Bears. The Clarke Athletic Center at the campus of the University of Massachusetts in Boston. I'm Jim Colony along with Bernie Corbett. More Catholic Conference hockey in store for you tonight. And really, Bernie, a couple of teams headed in different directions. It's been a tough season so far for Malden Catholic. A lot of one-goal losses, kind of like the year before. And Malden Catholic's pretty much out of the picture. In fact, is out of the picture as far as making the tournament go. But Don Bosco still has hopes. The Bears, though, have their work cut out. They need, they've got 6 games left. That's 12 possible points, and they've got to come up with 7 points out of those 12 games starting tonight.
Easier said than done in the very competitive Catholic conferences we've seen evidence of so far this season. But I got to give a lot of credit to Joe McCabe, who is acknowledged as perhaps the finest coach in the Catholic Conference off of what he's done the last 2 seasons and getting the most out of what he has to work with.
Both teams are coming off excellent games. Malden Catholic played St. John's tough over the weekend and came away with another 3-2 defeat. That seems a par for the course for Malden Catholic this year. In fact, in the only the first meeting between these 2 schools this year, the final was 3-2 in favor of Don Bosco. We expect another close, tight checking game tonight. Stick with us. We'll be back for the opening face-off in just a moment. See a fairly empty center ice surface, although the Malden Catholic players still warming up. Lancers against the Bears. As we mentioned, the Lancers really with no hope for the tournament right now. Don Bosco. St. John's probably going to make the tournament, but this is Don Bosco we're talking about here. The Bears, tough row to hoe here. They've got 2 Catholic memorials left, a St. John's, a BC High, and 2 Malden Catholics. And I guess it's the old cliche, Bernie, you say records are deceiving, but really in Malden Catholic's case it can be. A lot of close losses. 3-2 to St. John's Prep on Saturday night. We've seen St. John's a couple times recently, and St. John's is tough.
Well, they certainly are. They have been, with the exception of CM, the dominant team in the league during the course of the year. And I just think back to opening night when MC was very impressive in a win over BC High, and it looked like they were shaking off the effects of last season when the 1-goal game was really the bugaboo that was their main problem, but it's gone the same way.
Yeah, when you get in a close game, there's a guy you like to see in your net, Harry Vaughn, the veteran, the senior for Don Bosco, with a 2.43 goals against average. In goal for Malden Catholic, Mike Mondello, a junior. Goals against a little bit higher, a little over 3 per game. And he's a good one. In fact, you can see Vaughn, if you get a shot of Vaughn again, he's doing the, I don't know what act you'd call it. Probably somebody first started that, but you used to see Bill Ranford do that when he was up for the Bruins, where he skates from one side of the ice to the other. And Bruce Racine does that for Northeastern. I was noticing that during the Bean Pot.
Oh, you had to go and mention that name just to ruin my night. Thanks, Jim.
That's Bernie, of course, from BU hockey on the radio, and we all know what happened to the Terriers in the Bean Pot. Hey, but the thing about the Terriers is that they've won some games lately. I mean, they are hot. Now they're going to start Hockey East action again, and they could make some noise in the playoffs. In fact, I think they're ranked 13th this week, aren't they, in the national poll?
That's right. We've finally broken into the ratings. We're ranked 3rd right now in Hockey East. Get a look at Jim Malloy. And I mentioned a moment ago, Malden Catholic veteran coach.
4 years at 4 years at Malden Catholic. He's been around, been at Don Savio's, been at Everett. So.
Well, at least we have the Lancers and the Bears tonight, Jim. It's not Eagles against Eaglets and any other bird in the sky.
Okay, here we go with Kevin Feeney and Keith Kachuk on the face-off. That's Kevin Fowler with it now, and now Kachuk. I wonder if anybody calls him Walt. We'll get into that later on. Kachuk with a chance, trying to get it on his backhand and can't do it. And now the Bears are breaking out here with a 3-on-2. Cannon dumps it into the middle, trying to get it to Feeney. And he can't control. Or actually, we got the Gallardi-Brown-Cunniff line out there. Or we'll pick it up. Kachuk again penetrating, trying to make the move, can't do it. Second shot is blocked by Vaughn through a partial screen. So here come the Bears again. That's Venus leading the rush. He gets broken up, and now Malden Catholic will come back the other way, or dumping it out of the end, and Venus will have to chase it back, or it'll be icing first. No, I guess not. Venus picked it up before it got back to the goal line, and he almost gets broken up in front of the net. Poor checking there by Mike LaRusso. Just underway here, no score. Clarke can't make contact near center ice. Wesley is tripped up. Now a shot is blocked into the corner. And Municello chasing after it, knocks it loose. And here come the Bears once again. This is Kevin Feeney. Dumping it into the corner. Concannon there trying to center it. No one in front, really. Arthur Brown trying for position. Back to the point. Venus with a drive. Almost in. It is deflected into the net by Bob Concannon. So Don Bosco takes a quick 1-0 lead. Venus' shot well off the mark, but a deft deflection by Concannon.
That was just a textbook redirect. Venus very smartly keeping the shot low, and that gave Concannon the opportunity. You'll see him on the left of the screen. Venus triggering just inside the blue line, and Concannon from that maze of players in front able to redirect it home and give the Bears a 1-0 lead.
Well, they gave it to Venus on the announcement, so maybe we'll have to...
I suspect that's going to be changed.
Might have to look into that one. We'll see. Nonetheless, it's a goal for Don Bosco. That's what matters. And the Bears pressing once again. As we have the Feeney line still out there. Feeney, Concannon, and Arthur Brown. Randazza trying to dump it in and ridden off the play. Feeney after it. That's Craig Bailey, number 2. For Don Bosco's tripped. Arthur Brown clears it out of the zone, but it goes back over to the Lancers. And here's Randazza. Leaving it now for Abbott, tees it up. Shot is blocked in front. And Feeney's able to get it to the corner. 12.5 minutes left in the first period. 1-0 Don Bosco. As the puck is tied up in the corner. And we'll have a face-off in front of Harry Vaughn. 12:27 left, first period. As you see, Kevin Feeney, the junior out of Charlestown, 8 goals, 4 assists on the season so far. Maybe 5 assists, depending on how they scored that last one.
Well, I think that one will be corrected.
Well, it was deflected by somebody, whether it was...
It looked to be Concannon.
Whether it was Concannon. Now we're going to get the referee talking to Andy Amigo out there, checking his helmet.
Buckle him up.
Buckle up for safety, right? Take the law to heart, or it's not the law anymore, but. And now Amigo with a drive, blocked, so it wasn't really much of a drive. Venus trying to dump it out. Amigo keeps it in. Bouncing puck. Played there by Eric Vaughn. And he's checked off the play. As the Bears try to clear, can't do it. Still can't do it. But now finally Venus on the rush. Ken Venus is going to try from real long range, a la Reed Larson. Doesn't work. Figures if Larson can score from 90 feet, he may as well give it a shot too. And look there, the puck is free in front. And a chance for Glenn Considine, but he couldn't put it home as he was checked on the play. That's Cliff McHale dumping it back in, and Mike Bragan also on that line after it, along with Considine. Lancers breaking it out. That's Jim O'Neill, and we're going to have a penalty. As O'Neill was taken down.
Going to be Mike Bragan and Don Bosco going to the box. Looks like a holding call. Coming at 4:27 here in the first period.
Yeah, that was your basic hold.
Getting right out of a rule book. Picture might have been there.
Yeah, so Bosco already leading 1-0 with a chance to go up. The Bears had, in each of their last 2 games, they've had 30 shots and managed a total of 2 goals. So 60 shots on goal and just 2 goals to show for it. Not great efficiency, but that's been the story of their season so far in a lot of ways. Offsides against Malden Catholic, as the Lancers are trying to kill this one off.
I think Jim Malloy figured with what they went through last season that the problems would be corrected this year. A veteran team from Malden Catholic.
Wesley and Kachuk are the penalty killers up front for the Lancers. Brown trying to clear it. Said it goes back to MC. Well, the other confusing thing we could have is Malden Catholic and Catholic Memorial, MC and CM. Here's Arthur Brown with a 1-on-4. What's going on? Oh, I'm sorry, Malden Catholic's on the power play. What am I talking about?
Bragan went to the box. Bragan
I've
held O'Neill. Well, not the other way around.
We'll get it right. So Malden Catholic's on the power play. I'm wondering what's going on here, Arthur. Arthur Brown goes in 1-on-4. He should be on the power play. It's the other way around, of course. So Kachuk is actually out there on the power play with Wesley and also LaRusso, and the puck is cleared in. Vaughn knocks it behind his net, and Bosco is able to clear it. And Arthur Brown doing the penalty killing for Don Bosco. Mark Abbott is actually playing the point on the power play, normally a forward. And he loses it as he carries it. Coming down on 30 seconds to go on the Malden Catholic power play. As Amigo winds up. Now Abbott again. This time Malden Catholic should be able to get something going, but Wesley has checked off the play nicely. And back to center ice. Amigo broken up by Brown. Brown knocking it ahead. 15 seconds left on the man advantage for Malden Catholic. Bosco doing a pretty good job killing this penalty. There's a steal, almost a break-in. And the puck is still kept in. Bosco's almost had the territorial advantage on this shorthanded situation. Now a steal by Craig Bailey. Bailey could go in alone. And Bailey is held off, so this is going to be a penalty against Malden Catholic.
It'll be Amigo
a hooking call. I guess that was one of those deals where Amigo kind of had to do it because Bailey was breaking in alone. So now we're going to have a Don Bosco power play.
Well, in a situation like that, Jim, you take the call and make sure nobody goes in clean, and that's exactly what Amigo opted to do. Malden Catholic only has one Amigo as opposed to 3.
I was waiting for that line someplace. I was trying to hold off on it. But
I think we get out of the way in the first period.
I see Feeney out there, and Bragan is out there on right wing. Brown had just finished doing some penalty killing. Pass is centered, nobody there. Feeney chases after it himself, back to the point to Craig Bailey. Bailey trying to set it up. Bragan behind the net with a bouncing puck. Bragan goes in front, nothing there. And what do we got?
Looked like a man in the crease and whistled immediately. The face-off will come outside the zone. And that man was Chris Gilardi.
I can't figure out. I'm trying to look at the penalty time. I'm assuming there's a minute 17 left on the penalty. If you look at the scoreboard, yeah, it is. It's coming down at a minute 13.
For some reason, there's a 122 up there.
And there's a 113 up on the other one. Oh, boy. Kind of a confusing start, at least from our standpoint.
State lottery numbers are being shown.
Yeah, really, not for, play your number, folks. This could be it. Big Megabucks drawing. Well, it's tonight. By the time you're watching this, it's over. And Mondello has to clear the puck from in front of the net. 45 seconds left now on the man advantage. Venus from the point. And a drive and a save by Mondello. I'm not sure if that was on net, but it was a nice glove hand on the drive by Concannon.
Well, he showed a good deal of quickness, flashing the glove to make the save.
So Feeney's out there still along with Concannon, and we'll see who's on the left wing in a second. Venus and Bailey are on the points.
He just swaps positions from right to left. Lottie will try to win that face-off back, or Feeney rather try to win the face-off back in Venus's direction at the left point.
Wesley on the face-off from Malden Catholic, controlled by Bosco. Concannon battling with the official for it. Trying to dump it in behind the net, can't do it. Broken up nicely that time by Jason Merchant, but he's broken up in turn. And now the puck is finally cleared. And Harry Vaughn comes out to get it, and now out to center ice. But, well, Concannon redirects, but it goes to Malden Catholic. And the Lancers pretty much going to be able to kill this one off. Merchant now to DeMarco, who dumps it in. Under 10 seconds to go now on the Don Bosco power play. Bailey trying for one final rush is hammered, and he's going to go down. And Malden Catholic is going to go off as we have a cross check. So no sooner had Malden Catholic killed off that penalty, the Lancers are going to have to kill off another one. And actually, technically speaking, the Lancers will be 2 men short for 3 seconds.
It's going to be Pat Curran going to the box for A cross check. He gets a stick up high as Bailey rushed down the left lane.
Seemed like there was no need for that. He could have stopped him without having to get the stick up like that.
It's something that happens all too often. The stick gets up high instead of using the traditional hip or the shoulder.
So off the face-off, one man will come out, so it's a 5-on-4 skating situation, still in favor of Don Bosco. Arthur Brown penetrating. DeMarco checks him, but it goes right to Feeney. Feeney to Venus. Puck got away from him, and he tried to knock it into the corner and couldn't do it, so now the Bears will have to regroup. Jason Elsmore is back out at the point, or the other point, along with Venus, pulling a double shift. Feeney's pulling a double shift, too. He's still out there along with Brown.
Hasn't left the ice.
And Concannon. Now Feeney is checked, and Malden Catholic clears again. So the power play really hasn't been an advantage for either team. We saw Malden Catholic on a power play earlier, and I don't know if they got a shot on net.
I believe they did. Vaughn's only had about 3 shots to handle here in the first period.
Now there's a steal by LaRusso, and he dumps it in. 30 seconds left on the Don Bosco power play, which has been ineffective to say the least. Arthur Brown now. This could be a breakout for the Bears. Concannon for Brown. Brown may leave it for Elsmore. It does. Elsmore trying to get it over to Venus, but it goes outside of the zone. Actually, that's Craig Bailey who's out there now as Venus finally gets a rest. And this is going to, well, pretty much do it as Wesley dumps it away. And now Wesley follows in his own play, and that does it for the penalty. So Malden Catholics, for all intent and purposes, cleared off, well, killed off 3 minutes here. 2 penalties in a row. Don Bosco still with that 1-0 lead, however. Bailey able to keep it in. A little 4th line action out there for Don Bosco, or at least partial 4th line action. Brian McDonald is out there. Cliff McHale as well. And Municello is able to clear. Bailey with the check. Abbott's hit from behind. And somebody's going to go off.
Be a hit
we
from
get
behind.
The number. Yeah, that was McHale, I believe, is going to go off.
Cliff McHale for Don Bosco. Headed to the penalty box. Penalty coming at 8:35 here of the first period. Don Bosco leading 1-0. So second power play opportunity for MC and a chance to even things.
It's kind of funny a lot of times when you see you know, you talk about a penalty-filled game, you figure it would be a rough and tumble type thing, and this is really hasn't been much of anything. There've just been some kind of useless little penalties.
Lazy type of calls.
Yeah, yeah. And finally a shot on net, which Vaughn is able to handle easily. And now this could be a problem. Malden Catholic still controls. Bailey trying to check and doing so very nicely, trying to go for the face-off, can't do it. Now Andy Amigo sets up. He's back there along with Wesley out to the point. Abbott's drive is broken up. Amigo trying to keep it in. Abbott does. Wesley into the corner. Looking for Randazzo behind the net, or LaRusso, that is, actually. LaRusso on the give and go, trying to find Abbott at the point, and going to have a whistle and a face-off outside the zone. Man in the crease.
Yeah, excuse me, Jim. Once again, matter of fact, it could have been 2 men in the crease in that situation. 2 of the members of the forward line from Malden Catholic were in the area of Harry Vaughn's crease.
Well, that's one of those deals where that was LaRusso who was looking for the pass, so he just kind of kept going into the crease. I guess you can get away with it every once in a while.
As long as you skate through quickly. If you camp out there, the officials usually pretty adept at making the call immediately.
The delay is for Mike Mondello, the Malden Catholic goalie, who is rearranging his equipment, which he doesn't really need for the moment. Here's a shot on Vaughn, and he's able to kick it out. And Municello's able to clear. 5.5 minutes to go in the first period. Oh, look at that, and a score!
Well, Kachuk and Amigo got their signals crossed a bit. They started the power play rush. And as a result, Don Bosco.
Arthur Brown.
And it is Arthur Brown who'll get credit for it, as he just managed to
be in the right place.
Get a piece of it and poke it through Mondello's pads. Time of the goal, 9:32. Short-handed effort for Arthur Brown. And it's now 2-0 Don Bosco over the Lancers of Malden Catholic.
Yeah, so talk about power plays being ineffective. Malden Catholic still has 20 seconds to go on the man advantage, which has been no advantage so far. And Galini just got popped. So Bears trying to get inspired here. Malden Catholic just can't get anything going. And now the penalty is up, so the sides are at even strength. Malden Catholic trying for the rush. Shot goes wide. Vaughn had the angle, but a good chance for Nuzzo, who's after it now. 4.5 minutes to play in the first period. That's DeMarco for Malden Catholic. Now it's stolen away by David Cuniff. Cuniff in front, trying to find Gallardi. Gallardi battling for it, can't control, finally loses it out of the zone, and here comes Nuzzo. And he's checked off the play by Gallardi. Now Bosco will change up. A little bit of hitting back at center ice, and somebody got caught.
A delayed call.
It's going to go against Don Bosco. Mondello doesn't see the delayed call. He's still in his net. And now finally we're going to have the call against Bosco.
Too late to get the extra skater, Mike. Be an interference call, as that was well off the play. You mentioned play coming at center ice. The penalty at center ice is the play had already moved.
And who went off? I didn't get the number of that truck.
Did not see the number. Penalty coming at 11 or 10:58 rather.
What I always liked about hockey, you have to be a math major in order to figure out how they, the time. They never tell you, like, there's 4:02 left in the period. It comes at 11:58 or 10:58.
10:58 in this case.
See, I was a math major for a little bit, but ended up being a history major for obvious reasons.
David Cuniff going off, Jim. And it'll give Malden Catholic their third power play advantage here in the first period. They've done precious little with it. As a matter of fact, they were scored on moments ago.
Wesley trying to set something up. Amigo with a drive from the point, redirected and kicked out by Vaughn. I think that was LaRusso in front. And Vaughn had to make a reaction save. Didn't get the big deflection on that one, but just enough could have made a difference.
Well, Wesley made the smart drop pass to the left point. And then they set up a little bit of traffic in front, try to distract Vaughn, but to no avail.
Another one of those nice low shots that you like to see. Wesley trying to control the faceoff, finally does. Kachuk was ridden off and couldn't get a decent shot away. Now the goal goes off the... Get a good shot of it right there.
But don't say anything, Jim. We don't want to jinx it. That's the first time this evening.
You said it, I didn't. 3:39 to go first period. 2-0 Don Bosco on goals by Arthur Brown. And, well, they said Ken Venus, but we say it was Con Cannon. Which you probably know by now anyway. And the shot right in on Vaughn makes the easy save. Kachuk out there with Wesley and LaRusso. On the points, Amigo and Abbott for Malden Catholic. Lancers trailing at 2-0. Wesley with some stick work off the face-off. Abbott going for the drive is broken up. This could be a breakaway for Bosco if they can get it up there. But hustling back is Malden Catholic to break it up. Venus with one drive. And Con Cannon, who had the breakaway or the near breakaway moments ago, dumps it back in. 40 seconds to go on the Malden Catholic power play. Arthur Brown's looking for another one of those steals. Almost had one there. Instead, Kachuk is able to break up the wing. Kachuk with a bad angle goes behind the net. And now all the way back to the other end, which pretty much shows you how things have gone for Malden Catholic on the power play situations. Under 3 minutes to go in the period. 20 seconds left on the Malden Catholic power play, which in this case is really a misnomer. And that pass is too far ahead of O'Neill. And now Municello able to ride it off. O'Neill, however, gets it in front. LaRusso trying to tuck it, can't do it. Tried to tuck it a little bit too soon. He was wary of Craig Bailey coming at him. Bosco now back at full strength, but more immediate problems for the Bears. A loose puck in front of Vaughn. In front it goes, and be just off to the left of the net. And one of the Malden Catholic players is ridden down The Lancer fans,
takedown.
yeah, the wrestling fans wanted a penalty. Instead, they get a breakaway with Chris Gallardi. And what do we got? Offsides? Gotta be, right?
There was already a call made away from the play. And I think we do have somebody going to the penalty box. There was a call made behind the play. Might have been too many men on the ice. That might have been a bench penalty during the line change. And the officials has gone over the Malden Catholic bench to try to point something out.
Well, it'd have to be against Bosco, right? Because Gallardi he was in by himself, and the whistle blew before he was able to get a shot.
Try to unravel this one.
Okay, well, we're trying to count the guys here. Well, there's the penalty that probably could have been called.
Bailey with that
wasn't.
Takedown. Play broke it through center ice. And Gallardi alone, and then suddenly the whistle.
The whistle happened just before he got the shot. So it's a penalty against Malden Catholic. And now a goal. As we were trying to hear who the penalty was against, but who cares?
It was too many men on the ice, Jim.
Too many men on the ice, and Kevin Feeney is able to come away with a power play goal. I think Malden Catholic was expecting to pass out front, and Feeney just tucked it away.
Kevin Feeney.
So 3-0. Don Bosco. 2:06 to go.
Junior forward.
12:54, right?
Time of the goal, 12:54 for Feeney, a power play goal.
And now Feeney's trying for another one back to Concannon. Bosco really hasn't had a real game where they've erupted, at least in conference play. Perhaps this could be it. And we're going to have a tripping call against Bosco. A delayed call. Nuzzo trying to make the move, and Municello skates it off. And here comes the penalty against Don Bosco. It'll be a tripping call. So another penalty. How many is that for this period? It's a ton of them, isn't it?
That's going to be our 6th call here in the first period. And the fourth be Bob Concannon going in the box for tripping. Penalty coming at 13-19 here in the opening period, and Don Bosco leading 3-0.
Bob's a guy in the middle breathing hard. Minute 41 left. Nuzzo out on the face-off for Malden Catholic. I think he controlled it, and then for some reason dumped it into the corner, and Bosco able to clear it. There's Bailey looking for a give and go with Arthur Brown. Dumps it in, and now Jason Merchant has it, but he gets it taken away. And he's going to have to wind up behind Mondello.
The Lancers really need to get one back here, Jim, before the period expires.
Look at the third line out there on the power play. There's O'Neill trying to get around Bailey. Makes a nice centering pass, and it goes in the net off Don Bosco. That was actually Todd Boylan who put it into the net.
Boylan inadvertently, and then broke his stick on the back of the net for good measure and frustration. He was trying to bounce that one behind Harry Vaughn and out of harm's way, and instead he bounced it right past him. You see the play here, centered in front.
So I guess
off
O'Neill,
of Boylan and in.
I guess O'Neill has to get the goal.
He was the last man to make the touch for the Lancers, and they have got their first break and their first goal here in the first period.
You know, to add insult to insult for Boylan, he hasn't. That's his first goal of the year, if you want to put it like that. And of course it isn't.
Mercy.
But he hasn't scored yet.
Not in the right direction.
That's a bummer. That's like we had one of those in the Bean Pot the other night with Peter Fish, the BU goaltender, who otherwise, I mean, he made some nice saves that night. But the thing he's always going to remember about that game is how he put the puck in his own net. Now here's a steal. Venus unloads, and a save by Mondello. Rebound was there for the taking for a moment, but Gallardi couldn't get a stick on it. Now here's Malden Catholic with a rush. It's Wesley who's ridden off. Back the other way is Feeney. Arthur Brown. Concannon streaking up the wing. A glove save by Mondello with 41 seconds to go in the first period. 3-1, Don Bosco. Obviously the scorekeeper is a Bosco man because he hasn't put the goal up there for Malden Catholic yet.
He has refused.
Probably Todd relative of Todd Boylan's, no doubt. So one last chance for Malden Catholic, and a good chance it could be. Wesley has Abbott, but he's broken up. But a nice check by Venus. Puck loose in front. What a save by Vaughn. Puck is still loose. They can get it back to the point. Instead, it's stolen away by Don Bosco. What a great chance for Malden Catholic there. Concannon on the rush. Or Gallardi, actually. Dumps it through the crease, and Arthur Brown couldn't get there. And now another cross-check, I believe, as Gallardi went down behind the net, getting up rather slowly. You see him now. And 15 seconds left in the first period.
Penalty fill first period indeed. Wesley just a moment ago did an outstanding job moving from left to right, dropping the puck to Jim Randazza, number 12. Randazza on the backhand could not beat Harry Vaughn, who flashed the pad.
That was a heck of a save by Vaughn. And Randazza's going out. And so Bragan, Considine, and that should be McHale out there on left wing. Municello and Elsmore's trying to cheat a little bit on the face-off. Goes into the corner. Bragan has Municello out at the point. Municello tees it up, fires through a screen. Puck is loose still. Nobody can find it, and there's a whistle as Malden Catholic actually came out of it, but of course the official loses sight of the puck. The whistle must blow, and it did. Pat Curran actually did control for Malden Catholic, so it wasn't as if Malden Catholic got a tremendous break out of that situation. 4 seconds left, so Bragan's going to have to get it back to the point. Or whoever is going to be on the face-off. I think Feeney's going to come out and take the face-off.
That's his best centerman out there with just 4 seconds left in the period.
4 seconds left. Well, he was trying to shoot it off the face-off. He really had a choice with 4 seconds to either shoot himself or get it back to the point. He elected to try to kick it forward, couldn't do it, and that's the end of the first period. An excellent first period for Don Bosco. In fact, if it weren't for a miscue by one of the Bears, they'd be sitting on a shutout. But 3-1 it is. Don Bosco in charge.
Been in this location, 300 Tremont Street, since 1955. We moved here from East Boston. Don Bosco is a college preparatory academic school with a combined technology major. Basically what this means is that each of our students must take a full college preparatory academic program and in addition a technology major in one of the 6 areas that we offer. The academic programs are fairly strong. The college prep program is a standard college prep program. The boys here will be involved in a dual program which occupies at least 8 periods a day. The kinds of students that we cater to are primarily students from Greater Boston. Our largest population comes from Dorchester, then from South Boston. However, we do have a significant number of students from the outlying suburbs, primarily from Quincy. The academic programs that we have are complemented by very, very strong athletic programs. We take a lot of pride in not only the athletic programs, but also in the kinds of educational accomplishments that our boys have. On the technology side, the students are able to become prepared as technicians in the area of their concentration. They're able to, because of their academic preparation, to engage in pre-engineering programs, or because of the strength of the academic program, they can go on to a 4-year liberal arts college. The main thrust of Don Bosco is to offer our students these 3 alternatives upon graduation. For more information about applying to Don Bosco, you could call Brother Tony Ambrogio here at the school at 426-9457.
Alrighty, 3-1 is our score. What we're trying to figure out between periods is taking another look at the first goal of the game, which was originally credited to Ken Venus, who had the shot from the point for Don Bosco. It had to be deflected in front because the shot was headed, well, from our vantage point, to the left of the net, and it was directed inside. Let's take a look at it again. You'll see Venus tee it up. And Concannon's in front, number 4, who had a stick down on the ice. And as of yet, they had not changed it, but
I heard Don Bosco coach Joe McCabe talking about that particular goal and the fact that he thought it went to Bob Concannon. I suspect that one will be corrected. We might be able to check on it after period number 2 to see if it is officially changed.
We can mount a campaign to get Bob Concannon another goal. That'll be his 8th. Venus he only got 2 goals on the season. Concannon, if he doesn't get the goal, could get an assist, and he could use an assist. He's only got 1 of those. We'll see. The main point is that Bosco's in front 3-1. And also on the power play as we begin the second period, 1:12 to go on the man advantage for the Bears. 8-5-1 overall, 4-5 in conference play. The conference does mean something. They have no chance to win that, really. Catholic Memorial, Xaverian, St. John's battling that out. But the Bears looking to get into the South sectionals, and they have a pretty good shot at that. Although it will be tough. Bears on the power play. Venus is going to have an excellent shot in. Mondello makes the save.
Face-off's going to come outside again.
Man in the crease.
The Bears have been a little bit overzealous in getting in the face of Harry Vaughn, or in the face of Mike Mondello of Malden Catholic.
Actually, they did get in Harry Vaughn's face, too. Knocked one in their own net.
That's right.
Now that you mention it.
He's seen enough of his defense tonight.
Gallardi bounces one in. Mondello makes the stop. Now, Gallardi, that's going to stay right on the dasher. Well, until Gallardi knocks it off. And it was a hand pass to a teammate. So here we go again, out of the zone. Gallardi is out there with Feeney. So a couple of centers out there, actually. Venus and I believe Bailey will be on the other point. I can't see who the right wing is just yet. We'll get it for you in a second. 42 seconds to go on the Don Bosco power play. Here's a steal by Kachuk, trying to set up LaRusso shorthanded. Can't do it. It's Concannon who's out there, the guy that we're trying to get the goal for. Feeney knocks it too far ahead, can't collect. And now Venus has to wind up. Under 30 seconds to go, actually. 20 seconds now to go on the Don Bosco power play. Bears have scored once a man up and also once shorthanded. There's a steal, shorthanded bid again from Malden Catholic. And LaRusso was ridden off in front. Now Feeney, and Concannon goes offside. Feeney was trying to make the pass, couldn't do it. There was no offside call because Malden Catholic cleared it out. And now the penalty is up. But still a chance here as Considine gets a shot off net. And finally Malden Catholic clears. Bailey back forward at center ice. Considine now trying to make a move, can't do it. And no call forthcoming on that little ball.
Well, inadvertent playing the puck in that situation, I suspect.
Kachuk with kind of a weak shot in, but Vaughn has to dive out and make a semi-sprawl. So I guess you give him a save on that one. 13:23 to go in the second period. Still 3-1 Don Bosco.
Now Keith Kachuk, sophomore centerman for the Malden Catholic Lancers, he has already attracted some attention. Big, strong, pretty effective around the net, and only a sophomore. It'll be interesting to see how he develops over the next 2 seasons.
Yeah, 7 goals, 6 assists. That makes him the second leading scorer on the team, or third leading scorer on the team, that is. LaRusso has 16 points. Wesley has 15. Now a drive by Merchant in front, and Vaughn again has to go down on all fours to make the save. 13:19 left second period. 3-1 Bosco. Merchant's out there at the point with DeMarco. Sometimes you'll see Abbott out. Well, that's only on the power play when you see Abbott out on the point. And just as I was about to say, Merchant kept it in, he didn't, as it went out over the blue line. So offsides, it'll be a face-off just outside of the zone.
Just barely carried over, just enough.
Derek Nuzzo out there along with Jim O'Neill and Bill Krasko. O'Neill, well, actually he's out there with Chris Galini, who's out there instead of O'Neill. I was just about to say O'Neill was credited with the Malden Catholic goal, even though it was actually scored by Don Bosco's Todd Boylan, who embarrassingly put it into his own net. Considine trying to break out is checked. Now Merchant dumps it in. Nuzzo with the steal, but a nice defensive play by Mike Municello. So I guess it's no accident that he has the best plus-minus ratio of the Bears. A +20. Nobody else is even close. And finally the puck clears the zone, so no offsides. Bragan trying to move in. He's checked. Merchant trying to hit it up for Krasko. Krasko collects, centers it. But Nuzzo can't make the play. Now Nuzzo in for it in the corner. Nuzzo with a pretty nice move. Now Golini all alone. A backhander goes just wide, and we're going to have an interference call against Bosco. Puck is still loose. If Mondello can clear, Malden Catholic will have a chance. Boy, that guy came out really early. Unbelievably early. Mike Abbott
almost negated their power play.
Mark Abbott came off the bench. I don't think Mondello had gotten to the red line yet, and Abbott had already taken 3 strides inside the blue line. That was really close. I mean, you know, there's a fine line where, you know, you can get away with that sort of thing, but boy, I don't know, that was pretty blatant. 12:09 to go in the second period.
Looked like it was crossed in that situation, that line you're speaking of. Penalty coming at 2:51. Malden Catholic was 1 for 3 on the power play in the first period.
Deflection in front, kicked out by Vaughn. LaRusso going forward. That was Kachuk with the chance. They're trying to hit Wesley in front, and it's broken up by Don Bosco. Specifically Bob Concannon, who's been all over the ice tonight. And we're still going to get him that first goal. Even if he didn't score it, before this telecast is over, he's going to have the goal. LaRusso trying to set up again. That's Wesley now as LaRusso cuts behind the net. And we get another man in the crease deal. Is that going to be LaRusso?
Yes, sir.
Who I think is protesting that he was being
held
in the crease. Which is a common...
And that's a fine line there also, Jim, as to who the guilty party is in a given situation.
11:36 to go, second period. Still 3-1 Don Bosco. That's the way it was after 1. It's Andy Amigo, Malden Catholic defenseman, up for Kachuk. The heralded sophomore trying to center it. Does, but it goes to Concannon, who takes a dive. And Bosco's able to clear it with no problem. In fact, Arthur Brown is in after it as the lone forechecker. Amigo on the rush. He's a defenseman. Decides to stop on the wing and gets ridden off the play. Now Venus loses it. That sets up Kachuk. Kachuk with a nice pass. The shot hits the post. As LaRusso had a chance, or actually Amigo had the chance in from the point. Now Kachuk with another nice move out to the point. Amigo's going to let go. Shoots a save by Vaughn. Still loose, and it goes into the net.
I believe Kachuk will get credit for that second effort. As a moment before, he set up Andy Amigo, tried to go short side to no avail, ended up hitting the side of the net.
And the puck did go across the goal line before the goal went off the posts.
Now Kachuk just followed up his own rebound from a scramble in front.
Now Wesley was ticked off. Harry Vaughn was ticked off. Here's Kachuk with a nice pass out to the point. And there you see the puck loose and finally knocked in by Kachuk. And there you see Wesley get hit by the goal, which he wasn't too crazy about, but I don't think at that point he'd realized that the puck had gone into the net. So a 3-2 hockey game.
Goal coming at 4:14. Power play goal, the second power play
of the game, first for Malden Catholic, right?
Second power play goal. They're 2 of 4, so they're hitting an even 50% on the power play.
That O'Neill goal was a power play?
Yes.
Okay. I just keep thinking of it as a mistake, more as opposed to an earned goal. You don't really think of that as a power play goal, you know. But since we have that goal, we got ourselves a more exciting game here. 10:38 to go, second period. 3-2 Don Bosco. There's O'Driscoll going in alone. Is finally checked off. Puck loose in front. And trying to skate it off and actually drawing a penalty in the process is Todd Boylan, I believe.
A tripping call coming at 4:34. And this has been a penalty-filled affair. The officials...
But it hasn't really been a rough game. We mentioned that as well.
Not really chippy. The rules are being called, though, by a couple of veteran officials. Jim McCarthy, the helmeted official, and John McAteer.
So Nuzzo goes off, called for tripping. And Bosco's going to go on the, on the power play. I couldn't see one of the guys was behind the cheerleaders. Nice to see cheerleaders at a hockey game. I don't think we've seen too many of them so far. Okay, here's Gallardi out there with Feeney and Concannon, and Malden Catholic's able to clear. Venus is on the point, and now he's going to carry it in himself. Ken Venus streaking down the wing, has Concannon in front, but overskates the puck. Venus still trying to make a play. DeMarco and Venus fighting for it. Gallardi with the steal, trying to stuff it into the net, can't do it. Bailey's trying to keep it in, and he's tripped up. Craig Bailey didn't wait for his teammate to clear the zone, as he didn't really see Concannon, who was stuck too far in and going to be offsides against Don Bosco. Face-off just outside the Malden Catholic zone. 56 seconds to go on the Don Bosco power play. 9:52 left, second period.
The 5th power play opportunity of the evening for the Bears, Jim. They were 1 of 4 so far, as they connected once back in the first period.
Power play efficiency is 11%.
Ouch.
I don't think that's terribly terrific at any level.
Power play deficiency.
Good at killing penalties, though. And here's a deficiency right here, and a break for Malden Catholic. A backhander saved by Harry Vaughn. There's a beautiful chance for Mike LaRusso, and now Bosco breaks out the other way. But it goes too far ahead of Brown, and Amigo's able to clear back to center ice. Kachuk, who had the second Malden Catholic goal, is bumped by Bailey. Is he going to go off?
Delayed offside.
Oh, okay. I didn't think that was too bad. It was just a good solid hit. We don't have heights and weights on Malden Catholic, but Kachuk is a big guy. And Kachuk is on the face-off with Kevin Feeney.
Muscling each other already.
Pretty soon they're going to be out of there. And there he goes.
Kachuk is out. Feeney stays against LaRusso.
And he wins the draw back to Bailey. 26 seconds left on the Don Bosco power play. Venus loses the puck. Just really didn't go after it. So Gallardi has to collect. Bailey trying to get it up for Gallardi. Chris Gallardi trying to make the nice move. Finally does. Gallardi collects. Gallardi stops, looking for some help, and actually Bailey kind of broke it up. Too far for Feeney, and now Venus has to come in off the point after it, so Brown assumes the point. Ken Venus, nice stick handling behind the net on the give and go. Venus with a weak backhander is just a little bit wide. Oh, and the clearing by LaRusso is broken up by Brown through a screen, saved by Mondello, and now Malden Catholic is able to clear the zone. And that's it for the Malden Catholic penalty as well. But a couple of good chances. Venus skating in alone, but couldn't unleash a good shot, and then Brown had a good chance through a screen, but Mondello was able to make the save. Bragan is abusing the puck over there in the corner. 8:24 to go. We'll have a face-off to the left of Mondello. I always want to say Larry Mondello. You know, it's those Leave It to Beaver reruns.
Which will be on forever. Many generations will know the Cleaver family. A neat bit of work there by Arthur Brown a moment ago.
We're going to get Arthur a goal tonight, too, I have a feeling.
And we'll campaign for one.
He had that great deflection. Was that against... That wasn't BC High. It was one of those games. There's a centering pass by Bragan. Goes rather harmlessly through the crease. And now Municello chasing it. He, in turn, is chased by Chris Golini, who unloads a hit in the corner. Malden Catholic trying for the tying goal. Not going to get it here as Elsmore gets it out. Here comes Cliff McHale, the freshman. And Elsmore can't keep it in. Instead, Nuzzo breaking in 1-on-2. Golini's shot is blocked before it could get through to Vaughn. And a little bit more of end-to-end action here as Cliff McHale unloads from well beyond the blue line, and it goes into the net as Mondello never saw it. Unbelievable.
A rising drive by Cliff McHale, which came from about 75 feet out.
Yeah, that was beyond the blue line. Yes. My goodness.
Just over the center ice red line. You see McHale just cruising down the left lane, driving it from the neutral zone, and it just rose over Mondello.
It might have dipped at the end. I think Mondello thought that he must have thought it was going over the net.
Yes.
And he'd made some nice glove saves earlier. I don't know.
He just simply lost that one.
That's his first goal of the season, too.
Yeah. One he'll certainly remember the circumstances.
Yeah, so the freshman is in the books. Imagine he'll have a few of those before his career is done.
Once again, a 2-goal lead for Don Bosco. Goal coming at 7:21 of the second period.
It's Eric Vaughn dumping it in. Gallardi after it. He's out there with Boylan. and also David Cuniff. Centering pass saved by Vaughn. Malden Catholic with another good bid. Curran's broken up. And Bailey really dropping it for no one. His defenseman, he was a little really not at home there leading the rush. And now a penalty coming up against Don Bosco. A delayed call. A shot blocked in front. And Bailey covers up.
Galati tripping Kevin Wesley in the neutral zone as Wesley started to rush up ice. The penalty will come at 8:07.
I know it had been about 2 minutes since the last penalty, so I was getting kind of
something had to give.
Yeah. It is a strange game, isn't it? With the no rough stuff to speak of. In fact, we've seen much rougher and much chippier in the games that we've done.
And less called, far less called at times.
6:53 left in the second period, so a chance here for Malden Catholic, perhaps, to even this game, or at least get closer now, because it's 4-2 Don Bosco. Here's a steal. Concannon with a nice move. Finally is ridden off by 2 players. It took 3 Malden Catholic players to finally bring Concannon under control. Concannon's really having a great game tonight, and Arthur Brown is able to clear it on the penalty killing. Amigo and Abbott are on the points for Malden Catholic. Kachuk, Wesley, and LaRusso up front. Kachuk trying to leave it for Wesley. Does. Back for Kachuk. Nice pass. Kachuk over to LaRusso. Finally collects. Brown is after it there. Goes back to the point to Amigo. Now LaRusso trying to set it up, and it's broken up. Arthur Brown is able to clear the puck. 6 minutes to go, second period. 4-2 Don Bosco. Malden Catholic's on the power play for another 34 seconds. As time ticks away, as Arthur Brown stalks from his forechecking position. Amigo is harassed by Brown. Taken down by Brown, but rather weakly. Not going to be a call there. Nice move by O'Neill, who was credited with the first Malden Catholic goal. Now he's finally ridden off. O'Driscoll back for it. O'Driscoll had Kachuk in front, but couldn't get the pass through. Under 10 seconds to go now on the power play. Kachuk taking his time. O'Driscoll with a shot, saved by Vaughn, if indeed it did get through to Vaughn. There's Kachuk with a nice centering play. They still can't clear it. Abbott with a drive goes wide. The penalty is up, but Malden Catholic still controlling. O'Driscoll trying to find O'Neill, can't do it. Finally, Venus has it, hit by O'Neill. Kachuk trying to get the puck free. And Don Bosco gets what it wants, a face-off. It'll be to Harry Vaughn's right with 5:08 to go second period. Don Bosco escapes the shorthanded situation with a 2-goal lead intact.
And Sean O'Driscoll with the best bid coming as the power play situation had expired from Malden Catholic. Point blank denied by Vaughn, who somehow picked it out through a lot of traffic in front.
A little bit too far ahead of David Cuniff, who was ridden on, or not really ridden off by Merchant, but blocked out of the play by Merchant. Bailey trying to keep it in, can't. Here comes Nuzzo. Could be a 2-on-1 with Galini. Nuzzo with a shot, saved by Vaughn, trying to clear it. It's still loose, and now the defenseman, Craig Bailey, stuffs it under Harry Vaughn. That was a little hairy
moment there. That was certainly hairy for Harry. Handling the shot off the 2-on-1 as Galini chose to just use Krasko as a decoy there. He kept it himself, shot all the way, and then Vaughn almost mishandling the rebound into Malden Catholic's third goal.
Well, he didn't really have much of a choice. That shot was from in close, and it's one of those deals you gotta, I guess you have to make the save first and worry about where the rebound goes later, but he was caught a little bit off balance. And heads up play by Bailey. And that's a
good recovery.
That takes an art too. There's a shot, rather weak shot off the face-off by Merchant. DeMarco trying to dump it in. It's stolen away by Feeney. Feeney has Cuniff. Cuniff trying to make the move, and Merchant breaks him up. Too bad Merchant wasn't a goaltender. His first name is Jason. He could have been wearing a hockey mask. Feeney with a centering pass. Is behind Boylan. And now Abbott on the move. Abbott with a nice drop pass for Wesley, trying to go back to Abbott. A little bit too unselfish that time. I guess in retrospect, Wesley should have unloaded the puck himself. Bosco is able to clear. They almost had McHale on a break. Now Bailey breaks it up. Craig Bailey on the rush. Loses his stick, so he just kicks it ahead. No problem. Looking a little bit like Pele.
Soccer skills coming in.
Nice save by the ref. And now finally a jam up. That's not exactly where you want to get jammed up. Glenn Considine's head was over the boards, staring at a bunch of blue jerseys.
You're too close to the enemy bench, that's for sure.
Well, at least you know he's not going to start any trouble over there. You have to be either very brave or very foolish.
Or Rambo.
Considine apparently is neither. 3:42 to go in the second period. Still 4-2 Don Bosco. Bragan, Considine, and McHale out there. McHale with that knuckleball job, or knuckle puck job, I guess more correctly. Bragan's taken down. No penalty. That looked like the ref had half an arm up, or had the arm halfway up, not half an arm.
Thinking about it.
But no call. Considine trying to get it through to Feeney, who would just come off the bench. Nothing doing there. Bosco clears. Now McHale's in offsides. And we get the delayed call, offsides against Don Bosco, so now the Bears will get to change up. And the faceoff will be outside the Malden Catholic zone. 3:06 to play, second period.
Well, the Lancers certainly haven't rolled over and quit in this one. They have very little motivation except personal pride. As you mentioned, they are out of the tournament picture, whereas Don Bosco knows that they need this one. And we see Joe McCabe, Don Bosco mentor,
looking rather pensive at this point.
Thinking about the tournament.
I don't know about that. I think he's thinking about Malden Catholic. Now Nuzzo riding Elsmore off the play, but the Lancers cannot keep it in. Instead, back the other way. It's Arthur Brown having his way with the defenseman. Now Brown back to the point to Bailey, and pad save there by, actually with a waffle, Mondello. Now he tries to dump it into the corner. Considine has it in front. Feeney trying to stuff it home, can't do it. Bailey trying to knock it in, takes a hit by O'Neill. Arthur Brown knocking it loose. The boys are making some noise over on those far wing boards.
Sound like the Richter scales needed to measure some of those collisions.
Arthur Brown, the senior from Southie. 2 goals on the season, one of which was a knee-high deflection. We had the last time that we had the Bears.
He was bunting a low pitch.
Yeah, it was a
suicide squeeze.
That was in the 5-2 loss to St. John's. And offsides. So we'll take it back out here at center ice. 2:17 left, second period. 4-2 Bosco. Andy Amigo, number 17 for Malden Catholic. Little exchange at center ice. And finally Abbott trying to rush in. And there is going to be a call forthcoming against Venus. Actually, it looks like a holding call as opposed to interference. So I guess he was interfering with him while holding.
Take your pick
or,
in that
or
situation.
holding while interfering.
He played the man without the puck. That was the bottom line.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the semantics, but I do know the numbers. 1.5 minutes. So Ken Venus goes to the box.
Penalty coming at 13:05, so.
And that doesn't help either because, you get Venus, who is one of the prime penalty killers. So they'll have Elsmore and Bailey out there on defense, Concannon, and I think Arthur Brown should be out there. They've been doing most of the penalty killing so far. And yep, Arthur's right out there in the thick of it. They're trying to set up. I like this Malden Catholic power play. It's looked better. The first couple of times it was fairly impotent, but the last one was pretty good. I like Wesley and Kachuk, the way they work the puck. That's Kachuk over on the boards right now. Gets it ahead for Wesley, who dumps it in, and LaRusso is going to chase after it. If Perry Vaughn's not careful, he could give it away. But LaRusso couldn't collect. Abbott trying to keep it in and does. There's Kachuk and Bailey pressing after it. And we'll have a face-off. to Harry Vaughn's left with 1:19 to go, second period. 54 seconds to go on the Malden Catholic man advantage. Fortitude Bosco. Needless to say, Malden Catholic could use a goal here.
Managed to get one back late in the first period, hoping to do the same to cut it to 1.
Abbott with a chance to unload, but his shot is well off the mark, and Arthur Brown is able to clear it, so Abbott will have to go back and collect. 1:10 left as Mondello stops the puck for Mark Abbott. Kachuk can't break it in, and the puck is going to go back. An interview is forthcoming with, or upcoming actually, with Mike Greenwell, Red Sox star, who hopefully will have a spot someplace to play this year. He'd better.
I think they'll find a place for him.
Or else he's going to hear about it on my sportscast on KISS, because I think Greenwell's a terrific player. Yeah, he won Man of the Year from the Hyde Park Lions Club, so we had a chance to chat with Mike, so that'll be coming up later on. In fact, in just a few seconds. But right now, Malden Catholic couldn't do anything on the power play. Now Arthur Brown in the corner after it. Stolen away by Feeney, trying to center it. The puck is right there. I guess I don't know if Mondello saw that. I guess he did. He stood there rather calmly, however. Under 10 seconds to go now as Malden Catholic clears. And we're going to have icing with 5 seconds to go in the period.
Which is what you don't want, to face off in your defensive zone with time running out in the period. A chance for Don Bosco to set up quickly in the face-off.
This is how the first period ended. There were 4 seconds to go, and they had the face-off at the other side, actually, to Mondello's right. This time it'll be to Mondello's left. You see Harry Vaughn, but he's got nothing to do here for the final 5 seconds. He'll be standing there just like you just saw him.
Once again, credit Arthur Brown and Bob Concannon. Very effective job of tandem forechecking and stacking the blue line against that Malden Catholic power play.
Feeney on the face-off, trying to control, and does for a bit, but then Malden Catholic's able to clear it. Could have been icing, but the buzzer sounded as the puck crossed the goal line, so that's going to be it. We're going to make some new ice and also a chat with Mike Greenwell, but you see the score, Don Bosco 4, Malden Catholic 2. Pretty much how it ended after 1 with a 2-goal Don Bosco lead. Back with the Greenwell interview in just a minute.
Can you believe this thing?
Captures report the 18th of February in Winter Haven. And I'll tell you what, Greenwell, he's one. I think my kid's going to be right-handed, but if my kid was left-handed, that's a swing I'd have him look at. He has the sweetest swing. Somebody said since Fred Lynn. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't paying as much attention when Freddie first came up, but I like Greenwell's swing better. He's, you know, Boggs is a little bit different. And of course, when we were kids, we used to try to imitate Yaz, and of course, his thing is ridiculous. But Greenwell's stance and swing and everything else is pretty much perfect, and it shows with his statistics.
That'll heat up the old hot stove league.
I think so. And then if the Sox fall 8 games behind in May,
bite your tongue. Never happened. Too much optimism here in February.
That's right. Right now we're talking hockey. There's Harry Vaughn, 2.43 goals against average for Don Bosco. Mike Mondello, the junior, for Malden Catholic, who's had to come up with some saves tonight. And we got a little bit of a delay here because, oh, there they go. They're finally taking care of post-Zamboni work. And when they do, we'll have Gallardi and Kachuk on the face-off at center ice. And here we go. 4-2 Don Bosco as we start. Kachuk with a move, trying to hit LaRusso, and he's broken up. Venus in after it, hits the deck. And Amigo dumps it back into the corner. Mike Municello loses to LaRusso. Kind of a dangerous pass by Cuniff, and now they're trying to stuff it into the net, and Vaughn makes the save. Cuniff was trying to dump it behind the net and ended up putting it up for grabs, and LaRusso almost had a quick goal.
That'll get Joe McCabe a little bit upset here in the early going of the third period.
Yeah, it did. He was yelling at one of the kids on the bench. I don't know why. He didn't have anything to do with it. No, Vaughn covers up off the face-off. LaRusso takes a little bit of a poke and then sort of a semi-trip by Boylan And we're going to change up here, at least from the Bosco perspective. As we'll have Concannon, Feeney, and Arthur Brown out there. Still haven't found out about that Concannon goal. Venus, Concannon, whatever. There's a hand pass. It'll come back. Arthur had the big breakaway. Other end, Bob Concannon has one of the goals. Well, we think he has one of the goals. We're going to give it to him. Arthur Brown, Kevin Feeney, and also Cliff McHale. Jim O'Neill credited with a goal which was actually put into his own net by Todd Boylan. And Keith Kachuk has the other Malden Catholic goal. Now the puck is loose, and there goes Arthur Brown chasing after it. Nice move on Amigo. Brown dumping it in front. It goes into the net. I don't know if it went in off Kevin Feeney, but it's a goal for Don Bosco. Feeney was dangerously close to being in the crease, but he was also hit by a Malden Catholic player, so that goal is going to count. 5-2 Bosco. 4:15 to go in the game. Big goal.
Well, Brown from well out in the left lane is sliding it along the ice, and I think he will get credit for that goal. We'll wait and see on the replay. Goal coming just 45 seconds.
Yeah, let's check it out. Nice move by Arthur.
Just like him all the way. Second goal of the evening for Arthur Brown.
He could be sitting on a hat trick. Now here's a move and a backhander and a goal by Mark Abbott. So just as quickly as Bosco had gone up 3, Abbott comes right back with a fine individual effort, and it's a 2-goal game again at 5-3.
Well, 14 seconds later, a really severe breakdown defensively in the Don Bosco zone as Abbott and one of his line mates, Jim Randazza, were just alone in front. It was Abbott going to the backhander and sweeping it past Harry Vaughn, who was absolutely without support in that situation. Very lonely feeling.
Yeah, Harry Vaughn, as they say, had no chance. And here comes Abbott again. Goes wide. Randazza after it. But it's stolen away by Bosco. Considine up for McHale, who has one of the goals, had the 4th Bosco goal. And that's Eric Bond setting up, avoiding the Randazza check, avoids Wesley. Considine couldn't clear. Abbott trying to line it up, but waited too long, and McHale almost skated off with it. Now in front, Randazza's broken up, and here come the Bears. That was McHale. And now Eric Vaughn with a bouncer in on Mondello, who kicks it into the corner. We got a whistle, and somebody is going off here with a...
Jim McAteer making the call away from the play.
I didn't see it. Who's going off?
It'll be Jason Merchant from Malden Catholic going off. Penalty coming at 1:54. Looked like it was a slashing call.
So 13:06, Bosco goes on the power play. They've already got a couple of them. And Amigo trying to clear. Feeney keeps it in, trying to move into center. Can't do it. And Malden Catholic's able to clear. Bailey and Venus at the points. That's Venus now. Up for Arthur Brown. Misses Gallardi. And LaRusso puts it in on Harry Vaughn. Bosco with a 2-goal lead, trying to make it more here on the power play. Under a minute to go on the man advantage. Venus actually is hit by Brown, but it sets up Gallardi for a drive. Goes wide. Feeney into the corner, but Brown was in front of the net. And Amigo not able to clear. Venus keeps it in for Brown, who's tripped up. LaRusso after the puck. He can't clear it. Venus has it. Hits LaRusso. Brown all alone in the middle. Gallardi winds up and misses. Now Venus' shot is blocked partially anyway. Puck still loose in front, and it goes into the net.
See Feeney on the goal.
Kevin Feeney with his second goal. And Bosco back up by 3. It's 6-3 with 12:01 to play.
Just as Malden Catholic had cut it to within 1. The penalty Proves to be costly. Don Bosco on the power play. Feeney positioned to the right of Mondello, beating him cleanly. That one will come at 2:59. Power play goal for the Bears.
All of a sudden, this has turned into a little bit of a shootout, and we're going to have
Wide open.
Todd Ruggiero is going to come in to play goal for Malden Catholic. And Ruggiero will get a chance to warm up a little bit here. Saw him during football season. Linebacker, running back for the Lancers. And his teammates are going to unload on him. Let's just take a check of the Catholic Conference standings, which are subject to change because going on at the same time as this game is being played, Xaverian's playing Malden Catholic, or playing a Catholic Memorial, that is. That's right now, actually, Xaverian tied for first with St. John's Prep, both with 15 points. They are, St. John's is 7-3-1, Xaverian 7-5-1. Catholic Memorial actually standing third right now at 7-2, but obviously the Knights have a lot of games in hand here. They've got 2 games in hand on the Prep and 4 on Xaverian. Xaverian's also beaten Catholic Memorial twice so far, pending, of course, the game that's going on the same time as this. BC High is hanging in there at 4-7-1, not really in the conference. Don Bosco 4-5. If this holds up, they'd be even up. Malden Catholic 2-9-1. But again, the thing that matters to a lot of these clubs, if they can't win the conference title, you got to be in line for the overall point qualification. It looks now that St. John's and one of those 3, in fact, all those 3 teams should qualify.
There shouldn't be any problem. And of course, when you look at their record outside of the conference, when they do engage in non-league action, they usually are able to clean the slate as far as the points.
Yeah, heck, Malden Catholic is 2-9-1 in the conference, but 5-9-1 overall. So puck loose in front, almost went into the net, so Ruggiero had to be heads up really on his first chance. There's a drive, it goes wide. Goes by Boylan. Considine digging. I don't know if they were long. I think Brian McDonald is out there as well. Now streaking as Abbott's shot goes well over Vaughn's head. Here's Wesley with a chance. Couldn't put it onto the backhand. Still chasing after it, but it's checked off the play by Municello. And now here's a break for the Bears. Boylan thinks about unloading, directs it to Bragan, and a save by Ruggiero, but not this time. His number 23, Kevin Peckham, scores his first goal of the year. He's out of Hyde Park. I wonder if he was at that dinner honoring Mike Greenwell.
Well, Kevin did an excellent job of following the play as the trailer, coming in to pick up the rebound. Ruggiero was just dead to rights.
Yeah, he made the initial
roof it up top.
Yeah, he made the initial save, which is, I guess, all you can ask. A sprawling save at that, but
well, when they're busting in like that, Jim, there's a little else you can do.
we've seen a couple of first goals tonight. McHale and Peckham, their first goals of the year. Brian McDonald is out there now. He hasn't scored a goal yet. Maybe it'll be his turn this time. And McDonald digging. Back to the point it goes. Eric Vaughn unloads. Ruggiero leaves it up for grabs, but the puck goes into the corner. Just a dangerous chance, and now we've got a little extracurricular activity in front. Ruggiero lost his helmet.
And I think Cliff McHale's going to the penalty box.
So the freshman mixing it up. That's actually a look at Eric Vaughn, brother of goaltender Harry. Eric's a sophomore, so he'll be back for a couple of more goes at this thing. And Cliff McHale goes into the penalty box. Door is opening tonight, at least in that box. 10:41 to go in the game. It's 7-3 Don Bosco, so the Bears are firing away here. Although now it'll be Malden Catholic's chance to go with a man advantage.
Very suddenly taken control of this game in the opening minutes of the third period.
And we got Nuzzo out there along with Golini and Well, we did have them out there. Now we're going to have some changes. Instead, they come out with the sniper unit. Kachuk, Wesley, LaRusso, Abbott back on the point along with Amigo. Now actually Abbott moves up on right wing, and
it's going to be
LaRusso goes back to the point.
Excuse me, Jim. It's going to be a double minor. 3 minutes whistled altogether on Cliff McHale.
Well,
he picked up another minute and a half, maybe for an unsportsmanlike conduct. Have to wait and see on the call.
So this actually is a good chance for the Lancers to get back into the game. Right now they're down by 4 goals.
They'll enjoy 2 power plays consecutively.
Amigo keeps it in. Kachuk trying to kick it in front, gets it to Wesley, but he couldn't kick it through to LaRusso. Now Amigo back at the point. Amigo makes a nice shift. Amigo fires, and it goes wide. Directed in front, it goes into the net. Credit it to Mark Abbott, as he was actually trying to center the puck, and it went off Harry Vaughn's skate. So there's 1 goal.
Well, Abbott was just allowed, or actually, I believe the goal is going to go to Kachuk, as he was just unmolested in front of the
Well, let's take another look at this
Bosco
thing here.
cage.
Okay, I guess he did poke it in.
And Kachuk was run by Ken.
But he'll gladly pay the price on that one.
Certainly did. Goal coming at 4:47, so the Lancers managed to cash in on the first power play, and now they'll enjoy 1 more with Cliff McHale. And I think Venus was thrown off for the hit after the whistle. No, I guess not. He certainly could have been thrown off, as he just ran Kachuk after the puck was in the net.
Venus is off the ice anyway. Elsmore and Municello are out there.
And McHale will begin serving his 2nd penalty.
Yeah, okay, now they just reset the clock. John McCarthy and the clock operator getting things straight, so they do. So now a minute and a half left on the Malden Catholic power play. 7-4 the score. Lancers can make this interesting with another goal. They've got the high-scoring unit out there. Amigo, Kachuk, Wesley, Abbott, and LaRusso. Amigo goes all the way into the corner. Wesley now looking for the pass through the middle. Abbott trying to get it down, can't. But LaRusso keeps it in. However, it goes right to Bosco, and the Bears are able to clear the puck. Under a minute to go now in the Malden Catholic power play, as Ruggiero clears out. And now Amigo has to wind up. Amigo ahead to LaRusso, who carries. LaRusso takes it all the way in himself. He's a winger anyway. LaRusso trying to set up, has Amigo at the point. Amigo surveys the scene. LaRusso. Kachuk back for LaRusso, can't connect, but LaRusso picks it up again. For Kachuk in front, he's broken up. Amigo walking in. Now he has to go into the corner. LaRusso back out on the point in front for Kachuk. It goes through his skates, and now Bosco's able to clear once again. Under 20 seconds to go on the Malden Catholic power play. Lancers will change up a little bit. At least Abbott comes off. O'Driscoll is now out. And LaRusso can't get anything going as Arthur Brown is there with the forechecking once again, and only 5 seconds to go now on the Malden Catholic power play, so Arthur Brown's still doing his job.
Nothing short of tenacious, the forechecking job he's done, particularly in these man-down situations where Joe McCabe has been throwing Brown and Concannon out most of the evening, although right now it's Concannon joined by Feeney.
Yeah, Feeney and Brown are out there, along with Venus and Bailey.
Brown and Feeney, rather, sorry.
.8:48 to go in the game, a 3-goal Don Bosco lead, as it appears the Bears are going to withstand the Malden Catholic power play. And now it is officially over, and Ruggiero dives in front of the puck, or dives in front of the net for the puck. Whatever. It's late.
Close enough.
Feeney trying for the backhander off the faceoff. Gets stuffed. No, who else but Brown chasing after it in the corner. Malden Catholic trying to clear. Bailey keeps it in. Now Feeney at the point unloads. Brown can't get the deflection this time. This time he was trying for a letter high deflection. We saw him do it knee high before, but not that time. Venus spun around. Venus just kicked the stick away, didn't he? Was that O'Driscoll lost his stick and Venus shoved it down ice? Not very far, however. Now Venus is up on the wing, takes a poke. As the hitting is getting a little bit more furious, Ruggiero out of his net. Gallardi actually grabbed the puck.
He held that, so the
he was trying to knock it down. He saw that open net, baby. He wanted to get the puck down and in too much of a hurry. So the faceoff will be outside the Malden Catholic zone. 7:55 to go in the game. Right now, Don Bosco pretty much in control. These guys have been out here for a while. Feeney, Brown, and
they're finally going to come off.
Yeah. And Gallardi was out there. They're kind of mixing lines a little bit, so Venus is going to come off as well. So we've got Kevin Peckham out there along with Glenn Considine, and I think McHale might be out there on the other wing. Yeah, he is, and now that's McHale with the puck. McHale dumping it in front for Considine, and I don't think he was expecting the pass, really.
To be startled.
No, ahead of the play was Wesley, but the puck is way too far ahead even for him. And Jason Elsmore chases after it. Elsmore on the rush. Nice pass for McHale. McHale into the middle, broken up nicely by DeMarco. Now DeMarco hits the deck. Puck goes through the crease. Bailey keeping it in, and now getting it out. And chasing after it at center ice. Wesley is after it. Wesley has Abbott in front, and his deflection goes out of the ice surface. Good chance there for Malden Catholic. 7:05 to go. The Lancers still trail by 3.
Well, Abbott moved to the net alone, but the pass from Wesley was up a little bit too high, and thus the shot was up way too high.
Yeah, way too high. That thing was over the scoreboard.
I'm saying into the cheap seats, but there are no seats behind the net.
No.
If they had cheap ones, that's where they'd be.
Very cheap. Of course, all the seats are a good value. You got a plug in there. There's a save by Ruggiero. Puck is still loose, and Cuniff with a weak drive goes wide. And finally, Malden Catholic clears, but this is going to be icing with 6:45 to go in the game. Don Bosco with 6 games remaining. I started to say 12. That's the number of possible points. Bears need 7. Looks like they've got 2 here. They've still got another game against Malden Catholic, 1 against BC High, but 2 against Catholic Memorial and 1 against St. John's Prep. Puck almost deflected in, and a nice save by Ruggiero. I'm not so sure that he saw that, but he did make the save. I think it was Boylan, wasn't it, who had a chance for the deflection.
Well, number 11. Trying to put one in the opponent's net. He's already had enough embarrassment for one evening.
I know. Todd's looking for his first goal of the year, so it'd be nice to see him get one in. The senior out of South Boston. 6:37 left. Gallardi is out there along with Boylan. And Cuniff on the left wing. Gallardi trying for a shot off the face-off, misses. That's Merchant after it for Malden Catholic, and now Golini broken up by Gallardi. Golini and Gallardi. That can get confusing, I think.
Italian law firm.
There's a steal by Venus. Ken Venus with a nice shift. And Cuniff falls down as he dumps it in. I think we should mention that David Cuniff is son of Bruins assistant coach John Cuniff. We haven't gotten that into the broadcast yet, so now we finally did. It's official.
Right.
Saved by Vaughn. And Venus putting on a little bit of a skating exhibition here. Disney on Ice is at the Garden this week.
For a tryout for Ken Venus.
I don't think he's interested in Disney on Ice. He's interested in Hockey East or something. They have an interference call against somebody with 5:44 to go.
The guilty party is going to be Wayne.
This will be Wayne Smith.
Wayne Smith, the Malden Catholic, going off. 9:16 interference to call, as you pointed out, Jim.
It was Smitty's first turn on the ice, and he's gone for a minute and a half.
Short shift indeed.
So just what Don Bosco needs. Another power play here. The Bears already lead it by 3 goals at 7-4, but you can never have too many in this game. And here comes Malden Catholic short-handed. Wesley's out there with Abbott. I was going to say kept in by Concannon, but actually he's kind of going the wrong way. Offsides against Malden Catholic, 5 or under 5.5 to play.
Well, from Joe McCabe's standpoint, you can't have too many opportunities to practice your power play, especially when you're clicking at only 11%. That has been a particular problem.
The most goals that Bosco's had this year is 8 against Columbus. Within the conference, I think the most they've had is 4. So this is a high
point night.
Yeah, this is a high water mark for the Bears. They got to get Arthur Brown. Arthur's out there. He's looking for the hat trick, at least by our unofficial scoring tally. Venus is out there. Brown lurking at right wing, so they go to the other side. As Brown heads for the net, looking for the deflection. None forthcoming as Ruggiero covers up. 5:10 left now. And 56 seconds to go on the Don Bosco power play. Malden Catholic will change penalty killers. We see O'Driscoll coming out along with Nuzzo. Also Amigo, and see, who else is out there? Number 2. That's Chris Marks.
Chris Marcus.
It looks like Marcus, but it's actually pronounced Marks. It's another football guy. He's a sophomore too. He's a good football player. Here's Bailey at the point. Looking for the deflection is Brown, but he's stoned by Ruggiero in front. A pretty good chance for Arthur as he was buzzing around the crease. Still 47 seconds to go on the man advantage. And again, a nice job by Bailey to keep that shot low.
Ruggerio's been a pretty busy man since he came into this game in relief of Mondello.
Venus with the wrist shot is blocked by Nuzzo. Nuzzo trying to break out, held off by Venus. Instead, here comes O'Driscoll, 1-on-4. O'Driscoll trying to make the move, but he forgot the puck. Pass is actually behind Brown. Brown trying for the shift, can't do it. Amigo skates it off. Now Amigo's broken up. Venus trying to keep it in. There's another one of those spin moves, but the puck goes out of the zone. 4.5 minutes to go in the game. Under 20 seconds to go on the Don Bosco power play as O'Driscoll comes away with the steal, and his pass goes in on Harry Vaughn, who leaves it for Ken Venus. Under 10 seconds to go now on the Don Bosco power play, so that'll pretty much do it, although the Bears could get a rush out of it. And here comes Venus with just that in mind. Ken Venus goes around in a Brown screen, and another spin move by Venus, and yet another. Pirouettes galore.
I feel like Dick Button up here, ready to critique.
Gonna see a triple sow cow before we're done, or what?
Double axle.
That'd be a triple toe loop. It's a funny thing, you know all those. I don't know anything about figure skating, but I know all that stuff. And here's Arthur Brown trying for the break-in. He's got Feeney. Feeney trying to set up Brown. Shoots, and a save by Ruggiero as Arthur Brown goes down to the ice in disgust.
There is your hat trick, Arthur, as he appeals toward the heavens.
You can just he's just off the screen. Couldn't see him there. He skates it off.
It was well set up. He opted for the backhand.
Arthur's never going to get a better chance. He may as well sit down for the rest of the night, although he'll be out there for at least one more shift, probably 2, as they try to get him the hat trick. Municello unloads, and it's blocked by somebody who paid the price. I didn't see the number, but we're going to have a stoppage of play. And I think that's Wayne Smith. He's had kind of a tough night. He comes out on the ice and then sits down for a penalty, and then or is that no, that's 19. I'm sorry. Okay, Fowler, who also really hasn't seen too much ice time tonight. And boy, he got hammered.
He just sprawled right out in front of the shot.
Well, that's one of those things that you're supposed to do, I guess, but ouch.
One of the unpleasant things about being a winger in this game is having to cover the point men in situations like that.
That is why we always wear our protective equipment.
Don't leave home without it.
Wouldn't even consider it. 3.5 minutes to play. Still 7-4 Don Bosco. Todd Boylan on the rush. He's out there along with Peckham, who's got a goal tonight. His first goal of the season. Boylan fans on the shot in front. And breaking out is Jason Merchant trying to find O'Neill. Stolen by Municello. Municello trying to break in a little bit slowly. Concannon has it. Goes into the corners. He's broken up. What happened to the puck? There it is. Under 3 minutes to play now. Boylan loses it to Krasko. Boylan perseveres, but he loses it again. Peckham trying to knock it out of the zone, finally does. And Jim O'Neill chases it back into the Malden Catholic zone. Here's a steal by McDonald. He's ridden off finally. Oh, another steal by Mikhail Venus, keeping it in at the point. Now just dumps it into open ice, which happens to be the corner. Mikhail after it, centering the puck, and somehow it bounced in on Ruggiero, who was alert enough to cover it up. 2:25 to go in the game, 7-4 Bosco.
One of the Don Bosco forwards got a stick on it in front.
Ruggiero hasn't looked too bad here. Coming in cold like that, not an easy thing to do, and the action, especially in the third period, has really been right in front of him, and there's another play. Really not a tough save that time, but again, it's just a question of being in the game. He certainly hasn't had a chance to be bored. There's Joe McCabe, who's got to like the offense that his team's showing here in the third period.
Waited all season for it.
Yeah, 60 shots in the last 2 games and only a total of 2 goals. At least one of those games was a win, and there's a score by Ken Venus on a shot from the point through a screen.
And that'll match the 8 goals that they scored against CC.
So this one does go to Venus.
Right along the ice. Traffic in front. Ruggiero beaten cleanly. Goal coming at 13, or at 12:42 rather.
So actually, by the original official scoring, I suppose Venus would have a shot at a hat trick, although we're still going to give the goal to Concan in that first one. Feeney's got 2 goals, and Brown has 2 goals.
Well, if this was the NFL, they would have already checked the replay.
We checked the replay and really couldn't see anything off it. But, you know, that's the way it goes. That's offsides. Thought they were going to get away with that one for a second. I don't know, was it offsides, but he kind of like carried that. Speaking of football, he looked like a fullback going through the line on that, didn't he?
Almost carried it right in over the line, Jeff.
This is Golini dumping it in. 8-4 Don Bosco. Nice win for the Bears. They need a bunch more now to make the tournament. No chance for a league title, and I suppose they could sneak into second place in the league if they win enough games. But if they win enough games, they'd also qualify for the tournament nonetheless. So either way, they're going to have to beat some conference opponents. That's Greg Gerbatavich chasing after the puck, centering it, but nobody there. O'Driscoll skating it out now for Malden Catholic. A long drive is blocked. Under 1.5 minutes to go in the game now. This Wayne Smith. Vaughn can't stop it. And then we're looking for, that's Ken Poole who's out there. Joe McCabe going with 5 defensemen most of the night. Now he's got Kenny Poole out there. Shot in by Curran, broken up in front. Could be a break for Bosco, but it's going to be ruled a hand pass. Bailey to Gerbatavich. 1:07 to go in the game, so let's see if the hat trick candidates come back out onto the ice.
This will bring Don Bosco, as you mentioned, they'll be 2 points closer. They'll now need 5 out of 10.
Which is 500 hockey. And you know what? The Bears can get into the tournament if they can parlay this offense into something down the line. They certainly have the goaltending that can win them some games. Under 1 minute to go now. Don Bosco's going to win it. Krasko chasing after it for Malden Catholic. Bears trying to break it up. Ken Poole can't keep it in. Now Municello collects for the Bears. Knocks it out for McDonald. Brian McDonald, the sophomore out of Southie, is checked by Jim O'Neill. As we play toss and catch here at center ice. So I guess we're going to leave the 4th line out there for Bosco. No chance for hat tricks, but so what? Nice balanced scoring for the Bears. Usually it takes them a couple of weeks to come up with 8 goals. Tonight they did it in 1 game. And we're going to have our final penalty of the night, I believe, against Jason Merchant, judging by the way he showed disgust over the call.
Second trip to the box this evening.
Or maybe it won't be against him.
No,
it's against Jim O'Neill.
It's going to be Jim O'Neill instead, so that'll be his first trip.
Yeah, but Jason's still disgusted. 23 seconds left. I guess I would be too if I were trailing 8-4.
Now, school is very much out here for Malden Catholic. This one had been decided.
Next week, we've got BC High and Catholic Memorial. We haven't seen the Lancers in a few weeks. In fact, about over a month. Or the Lancers, I mean the Knights.
That's right.
I knew I was going to
CM and MC.
See, I confused them anyway, even though there was really no need. Under 4 seconds to go now, McDonald just kind of dumps it in. Ruggiero makes his final save, and that's going to do it. An excellent effort for Don Bosco. The Bears moving to 9-5-1 on the season. Malden Catholic drops to 5-10-1, 8-4 your final. Bernie and I will be back to wrap it up in just a minute. So Bosco coach Joe McCabe had been complaining earlier, geez, we had 60 shots on goal the last 2 games and only had 2 goals to show for it. But all of a sudden tonight, the Bears break out in a big way, 8-4, big win.
No, and that was 8 goals and 29 shots on net. So I'm sure Joe McCabe saying that's more like it offensively, and he's also very pleased to be 2 points closer to the tournament.
That's right. Just running down. Usually we don't have to run down too much with the goal totals, but now we got a bunch from here. Arthur Brown had a couple. Kevin Feeney had a couple. Bob Concannon had one, along with Cliff McHale, Kevin Peckham, and Ken Venus for Don Bosco for Malden Catholic. Jim O'Neill credited with a goal, actually knocked into his own net by Bosco's Todd Boylan. Also Keith Kachuk and Mark Abbott scoring for Malden Catholic, and actually Kachuk scored twice. Good-looking sophomore.
Certainly is. He's one that's going to, I suspect, attract some Division I attention in the next couple of years, depending on his development.
Exactly. Big kid, pretty strong skater. And I got to tell you what, our next Catholic Conference hockey is coming up. We're going to finally get another look at Catholic Memorial as the Knights take on BC High. That cablecast is coming up Wednesday, February 17th at noon. If you're in school at that time, you can watch it Thursday, February 18th at 3. And if you have hockey practice, then you can watch it Friday, February 19th at 8 o'clock. So we cater to everybody at Cablevision. You can trust me on that. We also have basketball coming up, CM against MC. So we are going to have the Catholic Memorial Malden Catholic matchup somewhere down the line. That's coming up Saturday, February 20th at 1 o'clock. But for now, thank you for joining us. For Bernie Corbett and our entire Cablevision crew, I'm Jim Colony. Final score once again, Don Bosco 8, Malden Catholic 4.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.